What is the worst thing that you ever did in your life? Well, that's the question that started the drama and the movie named The Drama. Get it? Because in the movie The Drama there's a drama? Produced by A24, one of the most promising studios of our generation, even if some other people think otherwise, and starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, two incredible actors, and don't let their past experiences change your mind about them. And so, what did I think of this movie? Well, let's start this review, shall we? And don't forget that this entire video is subjective and that you have the right to have your own opinion. Well, to start off this review, let's talk about the couple of things that I like about this movie. First of all, the acting is incredible. Both Zendaya and Robert Pattinson are very good at playing their characters. And I know what some of y'all are thinking. No, Robert Pattinson is better than he was in Twilight. I also really like the cinematography of the movie. It absolutely looks beautiful, whether it's the lighting or the color grading. And it kind of reminds me of the cinematography in Mr. Robot, which is a pretty unique and great style in my opinion. Now, one aspect of this movie that I like very much is the fact that it brings up a good moral discussion surrounding this movie. You see, in the movie The Drama, there's obviously a drama.
No shit.
And this drama, well, depending on who you are and your values as a person, well, you'll react to it differently. And that's what I like about this movie. The discussion surrounding this drama is very interesting, and not everyone will have the same opinion about it. It's one of those movies that opens a discussion when you walk out of the theater. Another aspect of the movie that I like is the small allusions made about the G word, like the mug and the picture. These are elements and details that make the movie kind of funny and creepy at the same time. And those are some great details from this movie that I like very much. Also, I think this movie is pretty psychological. You enter the characters' minds and you discover what both main characters think of the situation and a bit of their anxiety surrounding it. And I love that very much. And when you enter their minds, well, sometimes it creates some psychological scenes that are a bit creepy. For example, there's one scene when Zendaya's character is sitting in a restaurant and her ear starts bleeding, and it changes so suddenly the tone of the movie that was chill a second ago and then went on to be creepy for like 10 seconds. I like those sudden change of tones. It's a roller coaster of emotions, you know? And I also think that this movie is pretty immersive. It feels like you're inside the couple and their problems. You follow the struggles of both of these characters and you become attached to them, which is something that makes you more captivated about what's happening on screen. And the climax of the movie is pretty fun and dramatic. It's not as satisfying as it could have been, but it was still pretty good. The build up to this climax was kind of worth it. Finally, one last thing that I like about this movie is the fact that it's voluntary cringe. The scenes are made to be cringe and to set some silences that create some kind of tension. So this movie is not cringe in the sense that it's involuntary cringe, but in the sense that it wants to be cringe because it creates such an immersive ambience and some tension, which is cool. And sometimes it brings some funny scenes too. Now that I mentioned what I like about this movie, let's talk a bit about some things that I think could have been better, but also wasn't that bad. The mix of humor and drama was a bit weird. I feel like the humoristic tone wasn't necessarily the best approach they could have taken for this kind of situation, because it's honestly a pretty serious situation. And let's not lie here, maybe if it wasn't for the humor, this movie would have been too heavy. So I'm kind of glad that they did play a bit with the humor, and that it's a kind of humor that is not necessarily straight in your face, but that's kind of subtle. And finally, I respect some decisions taken in the sound design, but overall I feel like the sound design is a bit weird. Like they played a bit with the fact that Zendaya's character is half deaf, and sometimes there's some music that is playing that feels a bit out of place, and that is like just some little sound effects. I feel like they tried to make some kind of unique soundtrack out of this movie, but this unique soundtrack ended up becoming more a sound effect, you know? And now with all that said, let's talk about the things that I didn't quite like in this movie. I'm pretty sure most of you guys would agree if I said that this movie's pacing was a bit slow. I feel like there were some scenes that could have moved way faster, like the dinner scene in the beginning of the movie. Not every scene is too slow, but most of them are. And sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes it just feels stretched. And finally, the last thing that I didn't quite like in this movie was the first scene. I found it so corny. I wasn't sure that I would like this movie when I saw this scene for the first time. It kind of turned me a bit off at the beginning, but after that, it was going well, and I kind of liked it, so I moved on from it, but still, I find it too corny. And so in conclusion, I really like this movie. I really like its concept and the moral discussion it brings. It's one of those movies that you can talk about because they're interesting to talk about. The movie's a bit slow, but you get attached very easily to the characters. I will give this movie a rating of 7.5 out of 10. What did you guys think of this movie? I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed or hated this video, make sure to leave a like or dislike. If you want to support this small channel of mine, please consider subscribing to it. I send you guys all my love and hope to see you in the next one. See y'all!